Out of 100 people, 4 will get the message.
I want to read it out again because it's brilliant, and let me know in the comments when these light bulbs go off for you. So the Ukraine just finished a pilot where they were testing the Stellar Lumens network and XLM to actually facilitate payments and the whole system surrounding their digital hryvnia. Hryvnia is their currency, and ultimately what we're looking at here is their CBDC. So in this video, we're going to be going over the report that Tascombank released about the pilot, what the conclusion was about the pilot, and what this means for the relationship between XRP and XLM. If you do go on to actually enjoy this video, please consider hitting like on this video. It means more to me to hit like than actually to hit subscribe, simply because if you hit like, the video goes to other people just like you who might find value in this content. So the first thing of interest in this whole thing was a statement made by the deputy chairman of the board, Sergey Kolod, and I'm pretty sure I've butchered that name. And I'm reading this from the laptop so I get the exact quote. This is him actually talking about what they were testing for, like what the purpose of testing Stellar was actually for. He said, within the framework of this platform, we combine a fast, cheap, reliable, and transparent decentralized system of electronic money transfer and accounting on the Stellar blockchain. Here's where it gets interesting because we've heard about all of that for XRP. This is obviously with XLM, but listen to this bit. And the reliability of storage and regulatory comfort for clients of Tascombank. So immediately when I hear the word storage, I think, okay, well, they will be utilizing the idea of holding your crypto, your Stellar-based crypto, probably a CBDC here, in the bank. So they're actually discussing all of the different ways that this would be held within the bank, adding to the argument that we've been making where we need a system that allows for cryptocurrency to be part of a bank in order to transfer and move around from blockchain environment into a fiat environment and back and forth, setting us up for the ability to be able to send someone Bitcoin and have it arrive in CBDC. This is all the process and the thing that they're looking for out of this pilot. So let's see how that went. And this is where it kind of gets even more interesting as well, because we have a page or two here from the CEO and Executive Director, Danelle Dixon, and she is part of the Stellar Development Foundation. And she's essentially said, you know, we're being chosen here, Stellar's being chosen for this pilot. And I would like to do this by quoting and not just summarizing. She said, it was complemented by Stellar's built-in programmatic functions for asset control, which include the ability to limit how the asset is used and who can hold it by setting different configuration flags. Now, if that doesn't sound like a programmable CBDC where they can control how much meat you buy or which kind of car you can buy, electric or fossil fuel, this is all of that, and it's all packaged in as a smile. Look at that smile. So it's just interesting how these different countries word things differently. You know, you have the ability to customize and have asset control and all of this stuff. Maybe that sounds a bit scarier. And then you come over to the UK and Rishi Sunak says programmable currency, and maybe that's a bit friendlier on the ears. But ultimately what we're looking at here is a future where CBDCs are majorly controlled and also limited in how we can spend it, where we can spend it, and what we can spend it on. But that's just me. I kind of feel negative about these things. I typically lean on the negative side, and you'll see from the interview. If the interview's already up, you can click the I there and watch it. And if it's not up yet, then you'll have to see it coming out very soon. But my interview with Jimmy Valley, he very much took an optimistic stance, and you see how he worded it. It was really good. Optimistic stance on this whole thing, this whole technology move, whereas I kind of view things from a more negative stance, like this is terrible for us and we're only going to be more restricted and more limited. He took a different stance than that. It's a really interesting part of the interview. Definitely suggest you watch it. And so acknowledging that she is saying that this is what is possible with Stellar, it also means that the Ukraine wants to implement such a thing, right? They're testing such a thing that can be programmed and programmable, and you can dictate who has it and who doesn't. They're looking for that type of thing, and it's not unique to Ukraine. I think this is coming around the world in every single country. I find it interesting. Throughout this whole pilot, they were essentially testing different ways and different models that could be used for Tascombank to be able to deliver information and account details and a user interface for their customers, but also for the people working at the bank to enable these transfers to happen in an easy way with a platform and software and all of that kind of stuff. So they got this really interesting flow chart of how everything works. I can put it right up here. And from this, you can see essentially exactly how the Stellar network would be integrated with their system and allow for different platforms to be used for the best use of the technology. There's lots of talks about having wallets. So you'll essentially have a wallet at the bank and that will hold your XLM or hold the CBDC that's held on the XLM ledger or the Stellar network. None of this really kind of adds anything new here, but what it does add is this continued development and understanding of the way we view the world now. We know this is happening. They're testing, and I think this test has been very revealing. Among all of the other tests and pilots that we look at in this research, just quite revealing of how open they are about how it's really going to work, and it kind of gives us an idea of how the ecosystem looks as well. And as I mentioned the ecosystem, let's dive into the ecosystem that they wanted this pilot to work within, so you see exactly who would be affected by such a thing coming into play. Okay, so there's actually a list here, and I'm going to read this list off. One type of person that would be using it is a user. There are two types of users. There are natural people, that is like me and you. So this is aimed at the people. That should give you an idea of the type of CBDC this is. And also merchants, which are a legal entity. So those are two types of users that would be using this platform. Also, employees of the issuer and the financial institution. This would be the treasurer, the system administrator of the electronic money issue, so minting. Then you've also got employees of the financial institution. That would also be a treasurer or a cashier or the branch manager, financial monitoring or the back office. Like all of these people, essentially the whole structure of the banking industry would be affected by such a thing. Everyone would have to be trained, everyone has to use it, everyone has to understand it. And then the functions of this electronic money were investigated at this stage in the pilot, and they were all relating to the basic principles of having a cashless society and having cashless payments. So they had to tackle these elements: issuing of money, redemption of money, destruction of money. Destruction? Destruction, kind of like a universal basic income that you have to spend, otherwise it gets deleted. Okay, moving on. The creation of an electronic wallet for the bank's clients. This is onboarding people, so we would be the client of a bank, not this bank because this is in the Ukraine, but this gives us an idea for all the banks around the world. They'll have an onboarding where you get an electronic wallet for your CBDC, crediting electronic money to the client's wallet after depositing cash to the bank's cash desk. So taking your physical fiat and converting it into CBDC into that wallet, also features that they're testing here. Crediting electronic money to the client's wallet after non-cash replenishment, like if we wanted to pay the bank XRP to get CBDC back, or how about we're staking our crypto with a bank and they pay us an interest, that's non-cash, and that can be held in this wallet. Interesting how they're going after that as well. Review of the balance and history of transactions, so essentially a ledger, right? Transfers between wallets of clients, so transferring from your wallet at the bank to another person's wallet at the same bank, and the write-off or redemption of electronic money with cash withdrawal at the bank's cash desk. So basically allowing you to convert CBDC into physical cash. That sounds to me like everything to do with how me and you engage with banking. This essentially is all the way that me and you, retail, engage with banking, okay? So they're setting up with Stellar, XLM, and you can basically count this as being across the board for the rest of the world. We're just seeing what the Ukraine are doing right now. But essentially, that's what it is. We are looking at a retail CBDC built on the Stellar network. You're also saying, but XLM and Stellar have the ability to settle large payments too, from institution to institution. To that, I would typically say XRP handles that side of things. That's what it's made for. Stellar's handling the retail side of things, person-to-person payments. But I also want to see if that's what they were testing in this report as well, and what the outcomes of it. So the outcome of this whole thing was that it was a successful pilot within the areas that they were testing for. But it does say in the summary at the end, I want to read it out again because it's brilliant, and let me know in the comments when these light bulbs go off for you. The scheme of electronic money circulation proposed for the pilot project creates an economically feasible business model for the use of blockchain technologies. So it was successful, essentially. This was very good for use of blockchain technologies in the financial system. The possibility of applying such a solution in the context of scaling up the network for receiving, making humanitarian payments, cross-border settlements in a consortium with international or local financial institutions requires further analysis. Did you hear what I just said? I'll summarize it right here. They tested it for the way we will use the CBDC, but they've just said that using it for settlement cross-border and or with international or local institutions requires further analysis. We need to do more work to understand if there are better options out there than XLM to do institution-to-institution transfers and cross-border transfers. And also further down they talk about a two-tier system. Let's talk about that two-tier system. Tier 1, let's say that's the retail tier. Tier 1 being Stellar, the way we would use a retail CBDC. And then layer 2 is the institution-to-institution cross-border system that would then use an institutional or a wholesale CBDC version built on the XRP ledger. That's what I'm hearing, because there are only 2 projects in this whole space that can operate with the liquidity function or based in liquidity, and that's XLM, retail CBDC, and XRP, institution wholesale CBDC. So this report confirmed everything that I was thinking that was happening in this world. It's just really nice to see it nice and clear here in this whole report, to see that Stellar is being successful in testing for what they're supposed to be doing. And these large entities, these large banks are also acknowledging that Stellar might not be the best option for some other reasons, like cross-border payments. And this is where we exist with our XRP. So I think if you're situated with some XLM and XRP in this whole new system, I think it's going to go very well for you. I just do. It's all here. Why would they be testing this and having a positive outcome, saying it's a success, if these things weren't going to be happening? I just think this is all very exciting. And who knows actually when they did this, when they actually tested it. Could have been a while ago, you know, just now we're seeing it. Anyway, the whole document of this pilot and the review of the pilot is in the description below. Make sure if you're interested in finding out more or asking questions to me personally or joining in with the community, please consider hitting join below this video. It's next to the subscribe button if you're watching on the desktop. And if you're not watching on desktop and you're on a mobile, go to the description of this video. The link to join as a member on YouTube will also be there. Remember to click like on this video if you got value from it, so other people can also get value from it. Stay emotionless out there, and I'll see you in the next one.